Thank you for staying with us on NTV Weekend Edition. 23-year-old Michelle Muturi has turned the junk plastic found in dump sites into something beautiful and unexpected. Michelle uses plastic bottles filled with sand and recyclable plastic to create eco bricks. These bricks then support foundations for a variety of new structures and features, including benches and flower planters. She's built benches in 2 primary schools situated in Ongata Rongai. Her project takes full advantage of the competence-based curriculum that encourages learners to be creative in using locally available material. NTV's Rose Wangoi spoke with Michelle Muturi, and her story is next on our weekly segment, Women in Power.
My name is Michelle Muturi. I'm 23 years old. I have started an NGO called EcoBrick Solutions, where we aim to use plastic bottles as a form of beautification through the creation of benches and flower planters. I spent a lot of time traveling doing research for menstrual health as my dissertation research for graduation, and I spent some time in Khayelitsha, Cape Town, in primary schools where I was teaching students how to make reusable sanitary towels. And during my lunch breaks, I'd spend time with a caretaker who was using eco bricks filled with unrecyclable plastic paper bags to make sidewalks where students could play. And although it was considered a township, which is also known as a slum, it was a very clean one. It was one that was beautified for the students, and I noticed students being so happy to be outside and to play with their friends because the environment looked presentable. So I had the idea of going back to the States during my final year of uni and fundraising to be able to do a project like this in Kenya, and I wanted to build benches because there were not enough seating places every time we'd go to schools for either parents or students. So we wanted to build eco benches, eco brick benches, and it was a year worth of pitching and presenting and asking for funding, giving logic to something that doesn't seem logical. It does not seem logical why you use plastic bottles to make benches. Those two don't correlate at all. So to create that kind of imagination in the minds of people, it took a long time, and even my parents as well, and even the workers when we were starting out, but it's something that's become more tangible. We chose 2 schools here in Rongai, one in Rongai, one in Twala, so we gauged that off availability of places to sit when during lunchtime, and we noticed that the 2 schools that we used, Olekasasi Primary and Olosirkon, didn't have any at all. So an eco brick is a 2-liter bottle or a 500 ml bottle filled with either unrecyclable plastic and sand or just sand alone. It needs to be rigid enough so that it can be used and combined with cement to create a good base to make benches. So they are organized in a linear manner and combined with cement and to as many layers as possible, between 5 and 6, and then they're plastered on top and painted to be made beautiful. But the point is to show students that the plastic that we continuously use and throw away can be repurposed and reused. So in that case, we're utilizing plastic bottles as a way of encouraging students to be more environmentally friendly. The purpose is to show them that beauty can come from anything. Beauty can come from dust, beauty can come from plastic bottles after you're drinking a soda, drinking water, something that you wouldn't care for after can now be used to create an environment for so many kids to utilize, whether in classrooms. So everyone is giving a part of this project. So it's not a me project, it's a we project collectively. We wanted to utilize the back of bottles instead of the front for an aspect of, again, beauty, because it looks like a flower when you plaster it. And now we paint over it, and with the kids, and we draw, and it looks like something that they've just rebirthed out of nothing. So it's mostly because we want it to be attractive to the eye. When starting out this project and pitching to the head teachers and the principals and just letting them know this is the idea that I have, they're like, okay, you can have this space, and I'm like, it's too small. So they didn't really think that it was anything of substance. The actualization of the project comes maybe a week or two after the project fully begins, because now you can see the actual structure. You can see the bottles being aligned, you can see the plastering starting to happen, and now is really when students are like, oh, okay, I can see where this is going. But before, nobody truly believed. So once we painted and everything, and everyone came, they were in absolute awe that we could have done something like that. This is our first 2 projects, and we hope to get funding to do a lot more schools. Schools are our main priorities, and we also want to beautify just Kenya in general. We have a lot of plastic waste everywhere we go. When people are driving, throwing outside the window, when you go to places, lack of proper disposal for them, and we want to start making people aware that the environment is our responsibility. We don't want to limit ourselves just to benches. We want to do buildings, we want to do sidewalks, we want to do pathways, just to show people that our environment is truly beautiful and we can change it for the better.
NTV Weekend Edition continues on the other side of this break.